back, everyone. I'm Nala.
And I'm Faith.
And this is the Siren's Den, breakdown theories and things you may have overlooked for the finale of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
As always, this is your official spoiler warning.
This episode was just one big action scene, honestly, so we're not really gonna, do a traditional breakdown. We're just gonna break down things that, points that we liked amidst all this action.
Yeah.
There was a lot.
Yeah, overall, I think it was a fun way to end the series. I think it had a lot of strong moments, and it was just kind of I liked how it concluded. It felt right. Even if there are some things that
Yeah.
I wish they did a little bit better, but we'll get into that.
For sure. So I guess it started off with the Flag Smashers. This was essentially, obviously, the end of their arc. What did you think of what happened to the Flag Smashers? I mean, I know we originally had a kill list
Yeah.
in our last episode.
I think we did talk about the Flag Smashers being killed off, and sure enough.
So this finale is called One World, One People, and that is a theme that is, arches across the whole episode.
Mm-hmm.
This episode's really about people coming together. And some of it's tragic and some of it's really powerful.
Yeah.
But we get this cool, scene in the building as they're trying to stop this GRC vote. And it's, they've got those gas bomb fizzy things, not fizzy things, those gas bomb smoky things. And they're trying to, people are panicking. Everyone is going all over the place. And I don't know, is that, it's got some Green Goblin feel to it with that green smoky smoke bomb that they threw.
Yeah. I didn't even connect that in the times that I've watched the episode, the green smoke. I could see that. I know that just going back to Spider-Verse, we're gonna be or not. It is gonna kind of be Spider-Verse. We do know that they're bringing back some old villains from the old Spider-Man movies, so it'd be cool to see Green Goblin in here. I don't know if that's necessarily what that was. And also I think that it would get really muddy kind of going into that, just because how did they get Oscorp stuff? Does it even matter? Did they just stole it?
So
yeah.
I mean, speaking of the power broker, it was revealed that it is in fact Sharon Carter, which is a hunch we have had.
Mm-hmm. I didn't think it was going
introduced.
to be. But I'm really happy to be wrong about that. I think that's one of the things that this episode did really nicely with that reveal. And the one thing I was thinking about it too, because the thing that was tripping me up about Sharon being the power broker is that she was in the people showed and people who disappeared in the blip. But then it occurred to me that no, if she's on the lam, she might have just took the opportunity of the most chaotic day in human existence to get off the earth, and that's why she wasn't found. It wasn't necessarily that she blipped, that she didn't blip, and in that time she amassed a lot of power.
No one would be looking for her if they assumed she blipped. Wow Sharon goes deep. Right, because she was so I think that's definitely it was a good reveal. And you can, again, what I love about these Marvel shows is obviously we wait to get all the information, and then when we have all the information, you do look back. You can rewatch this show and be like, I see the plants that they put in here. So I definitely can see now, looking back on it, how Sharon definitely plays her cards really very interestingly this whole show. She definitely plays both sides. That's what we see at the end. The post-credit scene is her getting pardoned, like Sam said would happen, and reinstated at her old job in S.H.I.E.L.D. And now she is in fact still working as a double agent, a true double agent.
Yeah, she absolutely was the winner of this episode, hands down. Emily Van Camp, I'm really excited to see that she is going to be one of the main villains going forward. I remember there was this show that she was in. I think it was just called Revenge. It was it was a horrible show, but she was great in it. And that's the first time I saw her. So I'm really.
No, she's great at being a villain. So yeah, I think she's gonna rock it.
She plays conniving really well. When she becomes, or she gets her pardon and she has her whole moment in the not the embassy, but in front of the commission that pardons her, and she has that little good girl act, and then she makes a phone call at the end of like, I have so much information,
Mhm.
and I a lot of people are going into the who's on the other end of that phone call side of things. I think it's just a client. It doesn't matter. She's the power broker. She sells power. She just came into the jackpot. Um
Mhm.
I think that phone call, I don't think it's necessarily like, ooh, she's gonna set someone and more important than her, she's gonna sell it to. I think that was just their way of going that uh reiterating that this is a bad thing that just happened. This is a really bad situation that Sharon has all this information and can do this now. I think that's what the phone call represented. I don't think who she was talking to is important. It was probably just a goon, really.
Mhm. I'm excited to see how, she moves forward. Obviously, as the power broker, she saw this whole thing going down with Zemo and Bucky and Sam, and she was their ally at one point. And now it seems like she knows they're eventually going to hunt her down as well. Cuz the power broker was kind of pushed out of their minds because they were focusing too much on the flag smashers.
Mhm.
Um Retract. So no one who is alive currently knows that Sharon is the power broker. Sharon. Yeah, Sharon. Nobody alive knows that Sharon is the power broker. And even the people who did like only assumed. So again, this might not be a 100% confirmation that Sharon is the power broker, but it definitely gives a nice like dilemma for her because now she's going to go up against because again the idea of the power broker was kind of pushed out of their minds by the flag smashers. They were the bigger threat. Now it seems like another bigger threat, the biggest threat that was there the whole time that they didn't know about is in fact the power broker, and now they have access to government weapons and secrets.
Yeah.
That spells trouble.
Mhm. I feel like that Sharon is the power broker. I feel like having her not be the power broker at this point would just be kind of a little silly. I think they
Mhm.
established that this is who she is. This is what she's been setting up really well.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
100%, 100%. Yeah, I think that she could carry a Captain America movie as a villain, as a villainous character. I think, and especially having seen Emily talking about that really bad show she was in, Revenge, forever ago. I watched it for way longer than I should have, just because she was really good in
Mhm.
it.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm with you.
so I think that she can definitely be up to task for whatever that they throw at her, especially if they want to throw her as the main villain, which would be cool. I would be down for that. Um, can we talk about the Captain America suit?
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say enough about Sharon. We're past that now. Let's move on to what we were actually wanting to see this episode, which is that beautiful suit. I screamed at the TV
Mhm.
as
Mhm.
soon as that shield, like amazing. It was an amazing time. Like what he just like flips up into the air, throws that shield through the window with that awesome costume. That was obviously what was in the box that he opened.
I
But it looked so good. It was like straight from the comics. Ooh.
One of the things I really like about it too is that it's very distinguished from Steve's suit. Like there's still
Absolutely.
like the iconic Captain America imagery, but
Mhm.
it's totally different thing. And I think that
Absolutely.
really, and because one of the things I really liked was that John Walker's suit was like a Captain America suit knockoff with like some flashier colors, right?
Mhm.
Like he's trying to be fill in the shoes of a man that he is nothing like. And Captain or Sam suit, it our new Captain America, it's totally different because he's not trying to be Steve. He's not
Mm-mm.
trying he's himself. He's embracing himself as the role of Captain America, and that means distinguishing himself and his differences from Steve. And I think symbolically I really liked how they did that.
Mhm.
I
I love
also
that.
I don't know if you watched the documentary that they did,
Not
afterward.
yet. We're
There's
going to soon, though.
It's really good.
I just
One
need
of
something to, like, tide me over in the next couple weeks before Loki comes.
I know. Well,
That's
hey,
what it'll be.
they pushed it forward by 2 whole
2
days.
days! Oh, thank God they heard our prayers.
Uh, but
I was like, "I can't wait until June 11th. I can, however, wait until June 9th."
Mhm. Thank you, Marvel, for that, just lifeline.
Amazing.
What
No,
I was
but I yeah.
this but this but yeah, the one of the things I thought, was really cool with the suit, that they talked about in the documentary is, like, where his neck is, how that fabric is so smooth. That's not how fabric works. Any known fabric known to man. It turns out when they were filming it, there was always, like, a little bit of, like, a gap when he would move his head, so they had to CGI that out, and you cannot tell at all that any part of that suit
Amazing.
is, CGI'd out consistently.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
super impressive. So I think the reason is I think that the distinctive factor is how much white is in this costume because in Steve's Captain America costume, the whole top part of him was blue.
Mhm.
It was the blue and the red, white, and blue. But Sam has his top half is white, and it's like it complements the rest of the suit so well that
And
you're like, yes, absolutely. And when he comes in and they're like, who are you? And he says, I'm Captain America. That's when everyone was like, yes, you are. Absolutely. And it's so funny because we've had a culmination of that line being said throughout the whole show. But every time John Walker said it, it would just strike anger in our hearts.
yeah.
And now Sam has taken his rightful place and it is just it was awesome and he was so confident with himself and it's just truly wonderful character development.
And also, can I just say that with the white and with that new suit, one of my I think it's one of my just favorite just images from a Marvel property in general, and that was just that beautiful shot where he just flies down holding Carly's body, and just it's
Ooh,
so
yes.
angelic looking.
Angel
The
wings.
white on the suit in that was perfect. It
Absolutely.
really kind
Mhm.
of brought out that imagery a lot more. And I think that was the shot that really defined who he was as Captain America for me. Here he
Mhm.
is, the battle of the aftermath, having so much sympathy for just the villain in this situation.
Mhm. And I love the just new upgrades and incorporations. Honestly, it's like Cap mixed with Falcon, obviously mixed with Iron Man. He got his drones back. He has 2 drones now. He still has his hood, like always scanning, always figuring stuff out. Is what is it? HUD? Is it HUD? His HUD. He had his Shut up. um his his HUD, he has, that technology of Iron Man, but he has the wings of Falcon, and now he has the agility and the heart and personality of Captain America. It's all amalgamated into one. And one of my favorite moves that he used was, in fact, encasing himself with his wings and using the shield on top to just fully be in a cocoon of vibranium. Like, how smart is that? And not just that, but when he was fighting with Carly, down in that boiler room, he wasn't fighting. He was just always backing away, always on the defensive, and also using his wings in a non-threatening way.
Mhm. Captain America has always been more of a shield than a sword, and I think that kind of
Exactly. His
incorporated.
shield is absolutely everything that is important about Captain America is his shield. He doesn't attack, he defends. Uh,
Uh,
I'm honestly just again very very happy with how it turned out. It looked awesome. It played so well. Like it translated so well from its comic book counterpart. I like that even though he doesn't have a helmet and that is worrying, again, he does know how to protect his head.
those other heroes are gonna have a lot of, fashion to live up to.
I mean, again, not like we'll do another episode talking about what excites us in Phase 4 of Marvel, but
Mhm.
Miss Marvel's suit is excellent.
Ah,
Everything
yes.
coming out is looking amazing. Mhm. I'm excited for the fashion and Sam, being taking up the mantle as Captain America. Steve would be so proud. But let's talk Walker. Let's walk the walk. This has been an interesting episode for Walker. We thought he might just get worse and end up, dying in a blaze of not so much glory. But he actually ended up redeeming himself a little bit, which was interesting. What did you think about that?
I think it was quite earned. I
For sure.
so I think he's written really well as a character, and I think Wyatt Russell has done him phenomenally. I still there's you know the redemption of this, the quote unquote redemption on this, comes from the fact that he's accepted that he's not Captain America and he lets Sam take the mantle, but he
Right.
still totally murdered somebody like
Definitely,
a
and
week ago
obviously.
and lied to the family. And especially, and
Right.
that was weird. I wish they addressed that more, because one of the things with Bucky's storyline that they made very clear is that Bucky's got to own up to who he has done and what he's done, and stop hiding from this, and stop hiding from the realities and the reasons for why he did these things. Like that was Sam's whole things, is that he has to address that. That's how he can move past it. And then Walker does none of that. um,
Ay, ay, ay.
I, and I do think that he's a interesting character in the sense, and I think there's some sympathy to be had in the sense that he is kind of just this U.S. trained soldier. He did exactly what he was trained to do, and then he was punished for it, probably because he got caught on camera. I've had that not happened on, if that had that not been recorded, I doubt that he would have had any kind of consequences for that.
Right.
I don't necessarily think Walker is like a pure evil dude, but he's also not a good one, if that makes sense. I he's not he's not worthy of Captain America, and he's not Captain America, and like he's accepted that, and that. I still, I'm wary of anyone who bashes someone's skull in with a shield and cold blood, who is a pleading, defenseless person. I can't
Mhm.
uh and there's also the scene where he like had to choose if he was going to save the people or if he was going to keep fighting. Uh which would have been a lot more powerful for me, had like, because then they show 10 minutes of him beating people up while there's a fire in a van and he does nothing about. So he makes the decision finally to help people. After not for like 10 minutes.
I mean, I did like the moment. I absolutely agree. He wasn't he isn't that redeemable, and by the end he still does become a villain with his new US agent outfit, which he says is the same like his other one but black. It actually ended up suiting him better
Mhm.
somehow. But and I did like the symbolism of him dropping the sword or the shield when he did make that choice to save people. But again, I feel like he has passed the point of no return, especially since he's continuing to go towards the point of no return. Like he's continuing to go down the bad path. Cool. So I guess we can segue that and talk about what's happening with Fontaine and the Thunderbolts, because they were the raft has been brought up multiple times. That's where Zemo is. That's where Thunderbolt Ross has his headquarters essentially, and that's where the Thunderbolts are going to be coming from. Do you think maybe that Madame Hydra or Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character is working with Thunderbolt Ross?
I'm thinking right now. Last episode I thought I was pretty sure she was the power broker. And again, I'm
Right.
I'm fine with being wrong.
I mean, she could also be like working on the Dark Avengers.
I don't think it's necessarily gonna be, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the Thunderbolts. It
Mhm.
makes the most sense. Because also, like, it'd be kind of silly to have a superhero team in a movie being like, "We're the Dark Avengers." Like, where it's like, yeah, they need their old name, and I think, like, the Thunderbolts is, like, it's fun, I think it goes a little bit more with what they want to do. But yeah, I kind of this is my crazy theory on what's gonna happen. I think she is kind of working with Thunderbolt Ross. I think she has her own agenda. I think we might get in the She-Hulk show that we're gonna be getting. I think that's where we might see Thunderbolt Ross become Red Hulk. And I think he's gonna become Red Hulk, and I think she's gonna take over. I think she might even contribute to him becoming Red Hulk.
Which would be dope.
So yeah, that's kind of what I think is gonna happen with little to no knowledge. Can we also just say, let's press F to pay respect to the Flag Smashers. I feel so bad that they
I
kind
mean,
of
we did make a kill list, and we did basically say
well,
that all of the Flag Smashers would die.
not necessarily in a like, I feel bad for the Flag Smashers. Like, I have a lot of sympathy for them. I do. It more in just the what a waste. What a cool concept that just kind of
You know Marvel,
mhm,
they pick off their good villains early. Except for Loki, who's apparently just getting his own show.
except for Loki. And not even that, just like just here you have these 5 people who kind of were there to be like, "Yes, Carly," and then they just get to blow up. It's just it kind of felt like like Marvel, like Kevin Feige going like, "I don't want to play with you anymore."
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense that Zemo is behind it. Again,
Mhm.
it does it does align with his motivations. He does want to be rid of super soldiers. Except for Bucky, who I think he has a crush on.
I mean, how can you not? No, I think it's more just like it felt like it just didn't like Carly dying, that felt justified. That felt like a good end to that character. The rest of them, that just felt like, oh yeah, also these guys. Let's give Zemo another moment. Sure. He's a butler, right? Let's say he communicated with the butler.
I mean, they did bring that relationship up when they were in the plane. So I definitely can see that Zemo still has ties to his old life. He still has loyal people working for him. And again, I don't think this will be the last we see of Zemo. He has been a very big hit in the show, and I think he's going to be a big part moving forward as well. Especially
Yeah.
with the fact that he might now be involved with the Thunderbolts. Mhm. Mhm. Right. He probably maybe seduced a guard with his epic dance skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just yes. Yeah, I did so I don't know. I think Fontaine might have let Zemo get away with it because it was also something she was planning on doing. It doesn't seem like she would want more super soldiers that weren't under her control. So that might be why I think we're going to be seeing a basically you know, this league forming of heroes and also this league of villains forming. So it might not just it might be Power Broker, Thunderbolts, and whatever Madam Hydra's got going on. It might be everyone's working together. I don't know, but I can definitely see the seeds that they're planting for the future of Captain America. And apparently, the showrunner is going to be working on Captain America 4, which is going to have both Sam and Bucky in it once again.
Super pumped.
I
All
love
right.
that.
Can we talk about Sam's speech?
Absolutely. I
Uh
think I love the writing.
mhm. It was in the Marvel's Assembled episode, they kind of talked about the speech a little bit, and Malcolm and Carly and Anthony Mackie, they really wanted to make sure that they got that right. So I guess like Anthony Mackie and the writer had just like hours long phone calls, like just going over word for word of the speech to just make sure that they make something that really rang true for both of them and rang true for Anthony Mackie, and that would be a powerful moment for that. So I think it's really cool that Anthony Mackie got to collaborate on that.
I love hearing that. That's something about film that I wish happened more, because being on both sides of the camera, it's like, yeah, you realize that actors who are playing these characters have valuable insights into the inner workings of these characters, and they have things to add to them. So I'm glad that he did get a say into what he was going to say.
Mhm. Yeah.
No,
No.
I thought the speech was really well written. I thought it was brilliantly acted. I thought it's just something that I've been wanting Marvel to touch on for a long time, and I'm glad they finally have. Because now they've gotten us into this massive franchise, this billion-dollar franchise, globally watched, and they're putting out great messages of, I mean, I know it was a vague message of be better, like do better, but yeah, it just kind of showed us that this world is not so much different than the world we
Yeah.
currently live in, and it doesn't have it's not going to take him, a man with wings and an impenetrable shield, to save the world. It's up to other people to also step up and be heroes.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of in the same boat. I liked that it wasn't necessarily like these are the specific things you are doing wrong and how to like it was just it was a general like you're failing the people, you're being greedy, F off.
Exactly, and, like, again, the message of One World, One People, the title of the episode, comes through again, which is, make sure you include these people in what you're doing, and that, that goes for everything, and it goes for, he's kind of speaking as Captain America, in the sense that he went from someone being so scared to take up the mantle to someone realizing that it's his duty to take up the mantle and be that example for other people to follow.
Yeah. Yeah, I think really well done. I think that was definitely probably one of the most powerful moments of the episode was Sam's speech there. Good job, Cap.
Love it. We love supportive Bucky here.
Aw.
I love that Bucky basically like pats the shield kind of in what's the word? In a nod to Steve, basically kind of reassuring that Steve made the right decision too, because it goes back to him being like, if Steve was wrong about you, maybe he was wrong about me. And that's kind of him affirming that Steve wasn't wrong about Sam, therefore wasn't wrong about Bucky either.
Yeah, no.
Which leads us into the moment that has been built up all season, Bucky going back to Mr. Nakajima and confronting his past with him and telling him basically that he is the one who murdered his son. And unfortunately, that was one of the downfalls of this episode, because it was such a short scene, and I kind of wanted more from it.
Yeah, I wish we got that moment a little bit. Like I would love to have a longer bit of that conversation. But I guess this means Bucky's making amends.
Maybe it was one of those amends where it's like, I really don't think that Mr. Nakajima has forgiven him. So, or can forgive him, honestly. So
Yeah.
I think it was one of those things, they probably didn't show it because it wasn't going to be a happy scene. It wasn't going, because Bucky leaves and he's not like, ah, what a big relief taken off my shoulder. It was more of like that sucked that I had to do that, but I had to do that. And it gave me the exact reaction I was expecting, and I'm not happy with it, but it's what had to be done.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I wanna see that scene because it's not gonna be happy.
But I do wish it could have been like that fire scene in Wakanda where he is breaking down and being like actually showing him how much it has affected him, so that he, maybe Mr. Nakajima could realize that his son isn't someone who was murdered and forgotten. His presence has also impacted someone else's life.
Yeah, I think that we've also kind of covered a nice kind of topic when it comes to forgiveness. That just because you're making an apology and making an effort to do right does not mean that the other person owes you forgiveness. And
Mhm.
that's not the point of an apology. Your point of an
Exactly.
apology should never be for the other person to forgive you. It should be because you feel bad for what you've done and want to make it right. And I think if they had shown that scene, that would have been a really nice way to kind of cover that, because I think that's messaging that we don't get that often, and it would be really cool to see that more. Where this one they kind of skirted it a little bit.
Yeah. I agree, but I mean, I'm glad he got that over with. And when he went to check up on him again later on, he was at the bar um with the other bartender that he kind of went on a pseudo date with. And she seems to have yeah, that he did walk out on. I don't know if she saw him or not. I don't know if it was a point that she saw him, but it seems like that kind of arc was wrapped up in the sense that Mr. Nakajima is going to be fine. He still has other people who are going to care about him, like Bucky and like that waitress. And I guess that brings us into one of our final really emotional moments in this episode when Sam goes to visit Isaiah. And this was a really beautiful scene for a lot of reasons.
Yeah. I I'm really glad that they got to kind of wrap up this little arc between Isaiah and Sam. I think it was kind of a nice, powerful bookend to Sam's journey of accepting himself as Captain America. Is at first he got his advice. Isaiah told him absolutely no, don't be Captain America. He did it anyway, and just kind of having that conversation at the end of this is why I did it, and then uh and then also going out of his way to make sure that Isaiah Bradley and what happened to him is going to be something remembered in history. Uh,
Love, love, love that. I mean, again, this moment was built up throughout the whole season, but I did love that it was wrapped up so nicely because it could have just been Isaiah at his home, watching Sam on TV and seeing his speech, and he had that look of amazement, but it wasn't, it could have just been that, and you could have been left to think, what did he truly think about what Sam did? But then they went the extra mile to include him at the Smithsonian, which I thought was a wonderful little touch. I
yeah.
also love the little seeds they planted with his grandson, Elijah Bradley, and how now he has someone to look up to. And eventually he, in the comics, takes up the mantle as Patriot in the Young Avengers. So he's like a little mini Captain America, and it's awesome. He's like a mini Sam is like, I will take you under my vibranium wing and you will be a mini me. And I love it.
I I hope he
I
shows
guess
up in more Captain America content.
I agree. I think he has now taken his place as the mentor figure for Captain America. So I think in the future of Sam Wilson, he's going to be going to Isaiah a lot for help and guidance.
Mhm. Mhm.
And this is actually something I forgot to mention with Sam's Captain America suit. The moment, where everything was fine, the bad guys were vanquished. People are filming and someone is like, old granddad's like, that's the Black Falcon. And his grandson's like, no, that's Captain America. Just really fast. So I know we talked about, obviously Captain America is the essential part of this show, and I know they didn't get to change Bucky's name at the end. It was changed to Captain America and the Winter Soldier, which is kind of a bummer. I wish that they did give him. I don't know how it would have played if they were like Captain America and the White Wolf. Don't know.
Mhm.
But I did want to say was when Carly said that they needed to create a diversion because he will go save people instead of hunt them down, and he saved the members from the burning armored truck, they thanked him. And I loved that moment because he was so baffled. He did not know how to respond in that moment because he wasn't used to people thanking him. And I'm again, we'll talk about this. Actually, that kind of goes into our last point of this episode, which is the wonderful cookout at the end.
Ah, that I was really
Absolutely, brought tears to my eyes. I was smiling the whole time. Everyone was fine for once.
yeah, and it's just kind of nice to see the boys like each other and be happy.
They're a
They don't get
family
that
now.
often.
and we're here for it.
Can we also talk about just Bucky playing with kids? It's something that I have a friend on Twitter who has always just been obsessed with Captain America and like that side of the MCU. And they were really good at pointing out just like small details about Bucky that like make me really emotional. And one of those is the fact that Bucky was the oldest of a bunch of siblings. We know this. He grew up raising his little siblings and now he's playing with children.
Oh my god, no.
Mhm.
No, why'd you make me remember this? No, he's always had such big brother energy, especially when it came to Steve. And yes, seeing Bucky happy and smiling and playing with children, made my heart melt, especially when he was play fighting with them. Because he wasn't rough at all. He just sunk back into his teasing persona that we saw way, way, way at the beginning of the first Captain America.
Mhm.
And again, I'm excited to see the future of these characters because they have grown so much and they've come so far.
Can I tell you how I want things to bookend like just for this happy family? I want Bucky to be the one who buys the houseboat, and he just lives in it. He just gives them the money for the boat, and he
Amazing.
gets to live there and be jolly.
Absolutely. Yeah, headcanon accepted. Bucky just starting a life of what, crawfishing?
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, they can all live peaceful existence until whatever the next horrible, awful things that happens.
But I was very happy with the season finale, and I'm excited to see again, just hop on to the next show, which is going to be Loki or What If.
I'm so excited for both of those. I'm not gonna lie, I think I'm a little bit more excited for What If, but super pumped for both. I cannot wait to consume more Marvel.
So, even though this show has come to an end, we have been very grateful for the journey, very happy with, the character developments and excited to see what is coming next in the Marvelverse.
Yeah. I think this was a even though I don't think it was as strong as WandaVision, I think it was still just a really fun jump back into this kind of more uh high stakes domestic side of Marvel.
Well, be sure to tune in when we do our breakdown for Loki, when that's coming out in a few weeks.
And in the meantime, tell us what you thought of this episode in our comments or send us an email at sirenstenpod